Alright. One left to go in this particular series. Good old Sega Saturn. Mortal Kombat 2. Was it arcade perfect? You would think it would be. Let's find out. Here we go. Mortal Kombat 2 on the Sega Saturn. Surely this has to be arcade perfect, right? Has to be. How can it not be? It's the Sega Saturn. Guess we're gonna find out. Okay. It's definitely like better music than the Genesis or 32X or even maybe Super Nintendo, maybe. Definitely not the arcade music though. Like this is a completely redone. This is completely redone. This is not the arcade like tracks. For a CD? A CD game? You don't have the Mortal Kombat for Sega CD, the original Mortal Kombat for Sega CD had the actual arcade tracks on it. Why? Let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Wow. It's kind of bonky donk now. Now look at this though. The graphics are like arcade perfect, right? The graphics are right on the money. That looks great. The characters are arcade size, but the music is what the hell? Okay, shit. Here we go. What? What? Now at least we ain't going but we ain't doing nothing. There's not even God. Wow, it looks amazing, but there's no. He's not yelling during the Superman move. Like they're arcade graphics by far and wide. The graphics are totally arcade graphics, man. You know? That lightning throw doesn't sound very correct either. Like, what in the hell is going on here? I don't know. Some weird stuff's going on here, man.
Finish it.
A little pause before he falls in the acid.
Fatality.
Okay. Well, I'm okay. I cannot believe what I'm seeing or hearing. Arcade graphics, great. Absolutely, 1000%. That's awesome. It's arcade graphics. Now, watch this. When I throw the first finish, when I throw the first special move, watch. Oh, you notice that little pause? That little pause there. It only happens once. Now the rest of the match I can just do it like crazy, right? But that very first initial special move that you throw at the start of every match has that little delay. After that, it's good to go. But that first initial special move, see, it's not going to do it now because once you loaded it for a match, it's loaded and ready to go. It's weird. It's like, I don't know, it's just weird. Now, I did have this version back in the day as well. You know, I'm sitting here acting like it's the first time I see it, but it's just for entertainment purposes, obviously. I know what's going on here. We have this weird drum bongo music, I guess, on the freaking ladder, which makes no sense at all.
Fight.
But you have arcade graphics. Now, this music, what is the music? It's a completely redone soundtrack, which makes absolutely zero sense because we're playing it on a CD. We're playing it on a freaking CD. It's a CD-ROM game, and we don't have the arcade music? Like I said, the Sega CD Mortal Kombat had the arcade music on it. Why did we feel the need we had to go and redo all the music? It's not the best either. Like, the music is not... It's okay, I guess, but... I mean, it sounds better than Bonky Donk. Anything sounds better than Bonky Donk after a while, right? But it still has a little hint of Bonky Donk. A little hint of that Sega Bonky Donk in there. We are playing it on the Sega Saturn, but however, this was on PlayStation as well, so the Bonky Donk wasn't limited to the Sega system at the time.
Fight.
Man, I don't know. Let's try, let's see what happens when we do a fatality, I guess. Well, we did a fatality already in the Deadpool. Can't believe that. Doesn't have any sound when he's doing the Superman. It's almost like... It's almost like a really early version of one of the arcade versions, even though I have the early version ROMs of the arcade version, like the actual EEPROMs that you switch out on the PCB in your arcade machine. I have all the early versions of Mortal Kombat 2, and every version he's always had the Superman yell. So, we messed that up. I wanted to do fatality, oh well. But he's always had the... So, even though you could come up with the theory that maybe it's just a really early arcade version, which is what I thought, because it kind of acts like it, it's not. It's just a really weird version. It's weird, man. I don't understand the whole purpose of redoing the music and everything like that. It's just kind of strange to me. And that little delay for the special move right off the bat. Now that's it. Like, once you do that one time, and then it's not a problem the rest of the match. You don't have to worry about it the rest of the match after that one initial time. So if you plan ahead and you expect that little delay, you're good to go. But the music blows my mind. I can't understand what the hell the deal is there. It's not like they couldn't do it. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 would then later come out on the Sega Saturn shortly after this, really. Or maybe even around the same time, I can't remember, but it had the arcade perfect music because it was using the CD for the purpose of playing the arcade accurate music.
Fight.
I don't know. Now, as far as like arcade gameplay, this has problems too, man, as you can see. I used to think it was good. Now, there we go. We got it right there. It's not as... I mean, it works, but it's not the best. It's not the best. I play this one, and I liked... You know why I liked this one the best when I played it back in the day was because everything was real... Like, the characters were real big, like in the arcade, like it should be. And... most of it really gave you that arcade feel, except for the music was weird and not necessarily correct. Some of the sound effects aren't right. Raiden doesn't say or do anything. Look at that crazy, ridiculous nonsense with the computer.
Fight.
But hey, what are you gonna do? I don't know. What are you gonna do? That's Mortal Kombat 2 on the Sega Saturn. It's got problems. It's got problems. The music is not right. It might even be a little bonky donk, which is crazy. And the graphics, there's some issues with the graphics here and there. But for all intents and purposes, look very arcade accurate. And yeah, the gameplay is some semi-arcade accurate, not great. The colors are the colors are spot on. The colors look great. Colors look fantastic. Arcade perfect coloring on this version. But the lack of Raiden saying yelling during the Superman, which makes no sense. Why would you cut that out? I don't see why that was necessary. the slight loading of special moves when you first throw that first initial one, even though that's, you know, that's it after that. After that, you're good to go the rest of the match. I don't know. It's fun to play. It's fun to sit here and listen to weird music that they came up with for it, kind of their own version of it, which, you know, what are you gonna do? That's just the way it is, I guess. But it looks great. It doesn't play that bad. It's still fun to play. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Mortal Kombat 2 on the Sega Saturn, folks. That'll about wrap up our Mortal Kombat 2 series for now. We're going to come back and circle back around and do like an arcade to comparison, arcade compared to Super Nintendo, arcade compared to Genesis, so forth and so on. We'll do like side-by-side screens. We'll get around to that.